In 2023, I competed at 7 speedcubing tournaments to achieve my fastest times. You'll find out the highs and lows of what it's like to competitively solve Rubik's Cubes, and I'll take you on my journey to all 7 Rubik's Cube competitions that I competed at last year. Let's go back in time to Stevenage, January 2023. I solved horribly. In the first round, I was struggling to even achieve sub 10, which is very unusual for me. I forgot nearly half of my last layer algorithms for Skewb. After the Blindfolded challenge, my cube was completely scrambled up like I'd memorized nothing. My 5x5 average was 15 seconds slower than my personal record. The final round of 3x3 meant the most to me, as if I can't perform well, this will be my first cubing competition where I didn't break any new records. This round had to go well. I started with 2 low 9s with huge relief that so far so good. Then I became extremely nervous, trying to beat either my 941 average or 7.25 single. I was trying my best here. Will I lose my PR streak? Before I tell you how I did, as the competition was sponsored by speedcubing.org, I got to try a 35cm Rubik's Cube. Watch how speedy Daniel Evans is at scrambling this giant. In fact, I believe he holds the unofficial world record. I am rushing through the F12 in 1.5 minutes. The last layer was when it became tricky, as I can't just rely on muscle memory. I decided to go 2-look OLL instead, but when I got to the G-perm case, I stupidly decided to go for it. I messed everything up and had to start my last layer all over again. This time I was smart and went for a very simple 2-look PLL, easy algorithm to finish. Can I get sub 4 minutes? And I got a time of 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Speedcubing.org is the best place to buy speed cubes, and make sure to use the discount code SpeedyGoneCuber5 for 5% off any orders. Back to the round. Will I lose my PR streak? I did. I was devastated. After cubing for an entire day and all this hard work, I didn't break any new records for the first time ever. But I will not let this failure stop me. Let's get faster. At this point, I chose to take a pretty long break from cubing competitions to focus on my GCSE exam. 1 week after my last GCSE exams, I hadn't practiced that much, but I made sure to try my absolute best here, and my goal was to get at least 1 PR. In the 3x3 first round, I counted a high 11. In the 3x3 second round, I got too many 10s, but in the semi-final, things started looking incredible. I got a low 9, a mid 8, a low 9, then nerves started to kick in at this point, where I got a lucky 10, and my last solve can determine anything. My best possible average is 9.04. Can I solve well under the pressure? I had an insanely quick start, but loads of lockups in the last layer. My current PR average is 9.41, and I knew this was close. 9.42. That is 0.01 seconds slower. It means I could get it next time, hopefully. In the final round, solve like SpeedyGoneCuber? Just kidding, I messed up nearly everything. Here's an 18. No PRs in 3x3 and 5x5. Blindfolded was almost looking amazing, but my solve ended with a flipped edge. When will I ever get a success? For Skewb, even though I have a sub 5 official average, my PR single is over 4 seconds. With 2 rounds of Skewb, I had 10 chances to not leave this competition again with 0 PRs. Yay! Skewb PR, first sub 4. Now I can get PRs again. The last round was a 4.90 average, and it's sub 5 and PR 2, so I was very happy. But nothing more. 2 competitions, not gone so well for me. I need a plan. I decided to practice 3x3 deliberately for a whole month to get consistent. I worked on my weaknesses, my inspection, and my look ahead. The only problem was that I had not practiced any other events here, just the 3x3. 5x5, 7x7, square one, I was terrible at that. So 3x3 meant a lot. My current PR average to beat is 9.41 seconds, and my PR single is 7.25 seconds. In the first round, I got a 9.22 PR average and I was very happy. Then I had another consistent average in the second round, and now another consistent average in the third round with a 7-second single. And now in the final, things are looking amazing. And I get a 9.16 PR average with a 7-second single. Sub 9.5 averages in all 4 rounds. I am finally consistent. And I guess let's not talk about 5x5, 7x7 and square one. The most insane cubing competition for me was probably Norwich Summer 2023, where I took part in 3x3, 2x2, 4x4 and Pyraminx. For 3x3, I was one of the top 5 competitors on the psych sheet, so I knew I was capable of a podium. Before you see me compete, check out my brother's speedy skills in the first round of 3x3. He averages 40 seconds and that's speedy. With going to these competitions, it doesn't matter what speed you're at with cubing. It's all about having fun and seeing other cubers, and of course breaking your PRs. Just like my brother did on his final solve. There is a very high chance of him making the second round. For me, 3x3 round 1 went fine. I took ages to recognize a Zebula on one of the solves. Not the best, but I'm still satisfied with 4th place. Now it's the first round of 2x2. I had not competed in 2x2 since 2017, and for all these years, my PR average has been stuck at 8.18 seconds with thousands of British speedcubers much faster than me, but not anymore. I'll show you how I do it in 3 seconds, but before I do so, let's see how my brother does. I use the CLR method on 2x2, where you can use 1 out of 40 algorithms to complete the last layer, but as I barely ever practice 2x2, in some cases I can't even remember which algorithm to use and just rush into the 2 look last layer steps. Easy PR average and easy PR single, somehow 2nd place. What? In the second round, apart from a +2, I'm super satisfied to accomplish another PR average, placing me in 4th. In the 2x2 final, the big question was, can I podium? I decided to really focus on my solves, and I managed to come 2nd place in 2x2. Yay! Pyraminx. My brother has been seriously practicing the Pyraminx, so I decided to race him officially. Pressure was on. I have to beat 15 seconds and 3 seconds, phew. 4.00 seconds. Looks like my brother really struggled on this scramble with a 25-second solve. He then finishes his average with a 20, a 36 and an 18, averaging 21.72, not bad for his first official Pyraminx average, while I now am paced to potentially beat my current PR average of 3.95. 3 seconds, 2:43! What a great way to end this round, with a new PR average of 3.46, placing me in 1st. For 3x3 round 2, my brother was back at his usual speed of around 40 seconds. I was pretty inconsistent, especially in my 18-second solve where I really messed up, but it was very nice to end this average with a smooth full step 8.18. In 4x4, I didn't perform well in my first 4 solves of round 1, but my final solve, this happened. I got my first sub 40 in competition. I then made an incredible comeback in the final. I started with a 41 and I got a 38.42, which is another PR single, easily sub 50. On solve 4, because of my naughty timer stop, that was a DNF, but I don't really care as it was a bad solve anyway. On my final solve, the pressure was on. Current PR average is 49.07. I already have a counting 41. Let's see if I can make this happen. I focus hard on doing my very best here, and I did it. Absolutely destroyed both my PR average and single, placing me 7th in the final with a 45-second average. Time for the Pyraminx final. This round started immediately after the 4x4 final while my hands were sweaty from all the cubing I'd done, but I was still determined to get a podium in my favorite event. I solved it in pi seconds, then got nervous twice, just solve the Pyraminx, counting 3:32. For my last solve, please be at least sub 4, 3.71, ending with a 4 flat average, which is not as good as I was hoping, but still good enough for second place. It's a 3x3 final, and I can easily get low 9-second averages at home without pressure. So what's stopping me from doing this in competition? I made sure I was in the flow state. I had a shaky start into smooth consistency, sub 10 solve. Then I got a sub 9 solve. Solve the cube as quickly as possible. 9.28 average, let's go. Second place behind Daniel Evans, the owner of speedcubing.org. And this has got to be one of the most insane cubing competitions for me, with 3 podiums. Then a few days later, I took part in the Mindsports Olympiad cubing competition on my GCSE results day. So in the morning, I opened my GCSE results and they were good. Then I traveled to compete in a mind sport called speedcubing. This event didn't just have cubing. There were also other sports taking place like chess, Monopoly, etc. I obviously took part in the speedcubing tournament in 2x2, one-handed and 3x3. For 2x2, I wasn't really expecting that much. I happily messed up on the 7, 6 and 5, but the 2 was nice, and the last solve was a perfect 2.38 PR single. For one-handed, my PR average is 16.82 seconds, which was a fluke. I usually average slower than 20 seconds, but don't tell anyone. Let's just be happy that I got a 17. Finally, the competition ended with 2 rounds of 3x3. In the first round, I started with a 10-second solve, and then I had a really fast F2L, a full step solve, and I got a 7.1, which beat my previous personal record by 0.15. My judge was talking to me a lot during this round, which I initially thought was a bit distracting, but I actually feel like it made me feel a lot more relaxed during these attempts, which took some of the pressure off, allowing me to already have 2 counting 8. My worst possible average is 9.11, so already a PR is guaranteed. So key question is, can I improve it? I had slow turning into a 10.11, resulting in a 9.04 PR average. Let's go. I came 5th place in that round. Then it was the 3x3 final, where I was so tired, I just wanted to go home and sleep. As this was the same day where I got my GCSE results, it was the evening, having only had 2 to 3 hours of sleep, but watch the sub 10. At least I had one good solve. But still, this was a great way to celebrate my exam results, and I'm delighted with how well I performed in the previous round, getting double PR. Then I took part in Harrow Autumn 2023. My goals are to get a sub 9 average on 3x3 and my first official blindfolded success. In the first round of 3x3, I was aiming for an average of less than 9 seconds. I started with a lucky 9, followed by a hilarious one with a cube drop and loads of 1s. I then managed to get a nice full step 8.6. My third solve was looking amazing, a J-perm to finish, and a beautiful 7.56. My best possible average is now sub 9. 8.64 or better is what's needed for that sub 9 average. But unfortunately, I had a bit too many pauses during my F2L, which resulted in a 9.65, getting me a 9.33 average. 9 seconds is close to my normal average, so I'm pretty satisfied with that round. But now, let's guarantee I break the easiest personal records ever, as I'm going to participate in one of the weirdest WCA events for the first time. That is the Rubik's Clock. I've been seriously practicing this puzzle, just kidding. Why did I even sign up for the puzzle that's not even a twisty puzzle? Anyway, on solve 1, I got a DNF, which stands for did not finish, because I thought I'd completed it, but one of the sides was wrong. So on my last 4 solves, I decided to waste seconds checking at the very end, so everything lines up to 12 o'clock on both sides. I got 18, 15, 18 and 20, which resulted in a double PR. Great news, I did not come last. For 3x3 blindfolded, I was a minute into my memorization for solve 1, but the scramble was horrendous, so I made a clever decision to just give up, so hopefully I'll find an easy scramble on the next attempt. Oh boy, it was an easy scramble. I decided to memorize a hilarious story, so funny that I made it almost impossible for myself to forget that sequence of letters. I finally felt ready to blindfold myself. I use M2 for edges and Old Parkman for corners. You can see I'm being extremely careful, as one wrong move could ruin everything. I'd never done it in competition before, but came close a couple of times. Will I make this happen? edges are now correct, and you can see me pausing to try and remember what story I came up with for the corners. I whizzed my way through the first couple of corners, then I thought I'd made a mistake. You can see me struggling for about 30 seconds, not making any progress. Should I give up? Suddenly, in the last moment of the attempt, I remembered those final letter pairs. I had confidence in myself. I took off the blindfold and my reaction pretty much speaks for itself. I'm in shock. I was so happy to experience that rewarding feeling of having a solved Rubik's Cube in front of me. In 5 minutes and 50 seconds, I memorized the cube and executed it all blindfolded without any mistakes. My first official success, yay! Then it was a 3x3 second round. I started with a solid 8 and 9 second solve. On solve 3, I had a terrible last layer execution, resulting in 11 plus 2 equals 13.73. Gotta hope that's not counting, right? My fourth solve is looking very good, but on the last layer, I decided to get too smart and do a silly EO algorithm to orient all the edges to get a TZBLO case, since I actually know full TZBLO, which I had spent the summer learning, but not very well. Since I'm really struggling to recognize the case, I'm spending over 7 seconds just staring at it. I could have finished the whole cube by now had I just gone for OLO then PLO. Nah, I know it, I got it. Close to 2/3 of my entire solve was spent on last layer, but still enough for a very silly 1559. Now the 1373 is counting. I felt so stupid. I got nice cases on the last solve and the average was quite surprisingly still sub 11. I came very close to beating my 1 minute 38 average on 5x5, but messed up a little bit on solve 5. Still my second best average in competition. However, one of my biggest goals I had coming up to this competition and the whole of 2023 was to accomplish one goal of getting my first sub 9 average. The 3x3 final was my biggest chance. I started solve 1 with an amazing F2L, finishing smoothly with a full step 8.09. I then counted a low 8, which made me very excited. On solve 4, nerves almost started to kick in with my very long 5-pair solution. However, good TPS saved the day with another sub 10. I then said I was ready, and why didn't they scramble it? Okay, here's my actual fourth solve. I had a sub 5 F2L. Here, in such a split second, I was originally deciding to do EO into ZBLL, but as I wanted to play it safe here, I decided to cancel a couple of moves and just go straight into the regular OLL and PLL. Unfortunately, it took me 2.5 seconds just to do OLL, but it was still good enough for a 9.02. My best possible average is 8.44 seconds, and my worst possible average is 8.95. Meaning I've already locked in that sub 9 average. On my final solve of this competition, I clutched my BPA, getting an 8.06, resulting in an 8.44 personal record average. My first sub 9 average, and what an amazing way to end this competition. Cubing competitions are so enjoyable. It doesn't matter whether you get good times or bad ones, it's all about trying your best and having fun. My competitions at the start of this year didn't go so well for me, but compare them to my most recent ones. You never know when you're going to achieve those fast times you've been aiming for. If it doesn't happen at your next comp, don't give up. There are always more opportunities to compete after that, keep it up. There's also so much more to cubing than just results, like seeing other like-minded people who love cubing just as much as you do. My last competition of the year will be the UK Championship, where I will aim to make the finals of Pyraminx, which I sadly did not achieve last year. Stay tuned for my next video to find out how I did.